Yuci kambing hitam. Look at.
This is a great performance presented by the legend of Sadabia Group is over.
Huge project.
You're on your ears. Okay.
And this girl totally different personal It's the same day, so everyone's going to go.
They call me, yeah.